Hi, I'm Barbara, and this is Math 4.4.05, and I'm here to introduce you to Business Insights Explorer. I'm going to create this morning a sales bookings report, and quite honestly, that's just a sales order screen that has, or sales order list, I should say, that has all the sales orders that have been entered, no matter if they've been shipped, or if they've not been shipped, or if they've been invoiced or not been invoiced, for a particular period of time, usually a month. This is real powerful for the management to have. Now, one of the things before in version 4.2 and before that, and if you're currently on 405, this is you don't have this feature at all, but you will in the upgrade. You had to either do a crystal report, you had to do something in your lookup window, you had to export data to Excel and manipulate it. So we're going to do that right now so you can see the power of that Business Insights Explorer. So you'll have that for 4.4 in a lot of the areas. So I've just put a task over here. So I'm going to go to the Business Insights Explorer and open it up. And this is the sales order view. And what you're going to see here is a list of all of the sales orders. And as I click onto these sales orders, in the bottom it tells me what items are in the sales order. So I know that on standard order for custom craft products, I can see all the line items that it has. Now I can turn this bottom off, and that's what I'm going to do so that we just have more room, so that I'm seeing, not seeing that preview at all. I can change it to back orders or history or whatever it might be. I also can just make this bigger till it's all the way almost the full screen, which is kind of what we're going to do for this. And there's a lot more power than I'm showing you today, but I just want to make sure you get a kind of a taste for it. So remember, what we're creating is a sales order booking report. So these are the sales order. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to save a copy of this view that I'm looking at so I don't save over the standard by accident. So I'm going to go to File and Save As, and I'm going to call it Bookings Report. I can make my customizations public or private. Public will only let myself see them, and they won't be available in the menus. Public will be available to the roles appropriate, and private will be only available to me. I don't have any security set up in my demo company, so that I don't get that choice. So now I've got this, and you'll notice at the top it's called Bookings Report. So the pristine standard one is intact. So what I want to know is the dates, the invoice, or excuse me, the order numbers, the customer names, and the amounts, and maybe the salesperson's numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the orders, the order dates, and the order types. Well, I don't want to see repeating or master orders. So I'm going to simply create a filter to show what types of orders that I want to see. So I'm going to click this down and choose the one that I want to see. And for this exercise, I only want to see standard orders. Okay, so now I only have standard sales orders. That was easy, huh? There's some other filters. It also tells me down here I've got a filter on, so I'll be able to see that. Now, this company has multiple divisions, so that's okay. I may want to sort by that. Here's my customer number, my name. I do want to see those. Remember, I don't care if it's open or if it's invoiced or what the status is on that, but I may or may not want to see items that are on hold. So just note that that's there. For this exercise, I'm going to leave them, but you may want to filter that as well. If I don't want to filter a field and I don't want to see it, I can take it off this very easily. I'm going to leave the status on, but I'm going to move it because I don't want it over here. So I'm simply going to just lift it up and dragging it with my mouse over to the right. That's as easy as it is to move the columns around in Business Insights Explorer. Now there you've got your salesperson. I'm going to need that, but I don't care about their terms. So I'm going to simply drag that up till I get the X and drop it, and it goes away. You've got a sales tax schedule. Again, it doesn't matter to me, so I'm going to drop that out. Same thing with their customer purchase order. I don't care about this for this report. I'm just going to drop it out. So, and that would be the case with any. Now, there's another way to do dropping those out if you want to do several at a time. I can right-click and go to Column Settings. And Column Settings has all the columns that I have with check marks. So I could go through here as well and say I don't really care about the freight. I'm not going to include that in my bookings report, or the sales tax because I don't do sales tax. or the discount or the deposit or the comment, but I could leave those if I wanted to. And there's a lot more power in here. We can link to other tables very simply. Now, I will say if you're doing a bookings report, you do want to keep in mind if you do have taxable and non-taxable fields, you may want to consider leaving your freight and your sales tax if you're using sales tax, because the order total has both of those in it, and then we can do a calculated field. But for this exercise, we're going to just consider the order total as the amount booked. So my boss is used to seeing that order total as bookings total. So I'm simply going to put my cursor here and change the field to booking amount. So I'll click OK. And I'll just open that field up just a little bit. So now I have the exact fields that I need. So now, very easily, I've got a list of those. Well, that's great to have, except what does that do for me? It gives me a list. I can sort. So now I can sort by division. So Division 1 and Division 2 are separated. I can have it sort by customer number if I prefer. So anything that's on this, I'm just clicking on it. But I also can group them. So I want to group by division. So then I can just drag it up into this area, and that's my grouping area. So right here's my grouping area. So now I have them by Division 1 and Division 2. And then they're in alphabetical order. So that gives me a little bit more powering. It's almost like we're creating a pivot table within Mass 90. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to I want to total these because we do have the amount of them. So just like in Excel, you've got a button that looks like a sum. So I'm going to say summary footer. I also am going to do it by grouping. So a couple things I want to always see when the grouping is enabled, those sums. So, excuse me, my email's popping up. So one thing you'll see here, so now I have this, but there's no totals. So what does that mean? That means I have the ability to choose what I want to see in that column. So in this case, I want to see the total orders for the month. Now, so I'm going to right click, use my right click mouse, and in Mass 94.4 that's powerful. It's all over the place, and you'll see in some of the other videos in your classes you'll take that right click power and things you can do with it. And I'm going to say sum. So now I know that my booking amount is $16,000 in Division 1 for the month. But I haven't narrowed that date. This is all my orders, right? So you see some May and some April. So this isn't really accurate. I need one more filter, right? I need to tell it the date range. So remember, we could drop down and pick a date, but we also have an intuitive filter that we can put as well. And you have it over here on the right called the Filter Builder. If I click on that, very simple to use. I'm just going to click on this button. Now remember, it already said the type equals S for standard sales order. I'm going to tell it that the order date is what? It is between May 1st, 2010. I've got a calendar. Oops, I want to say 2010, not 2011. And May 31st, 2011, and I'll apply the filter. Once I click OK, now I only have May orders. Now, the other thing is I want to look at two things as a manager. I want to look at the total dollars, and I want to look at the total count of orders that I'm doing every month. So in this column where the date, you'll notice there's a field too, but there's nothing to sum because it's a date, but I can right click and count it. So it'll show me that there's 5. I can do that in each division. So I'll see that in Division 2, they had 13 orders and 5 orders. So, you know, I actually did the count there, and I should have done the sum. And you can see the difference in the money. So you've got a lot of power in this. So what you'll see is you'll have the ability to change it around. You also can say, well, what was my average order? And you can click that and go to average, and your average order is $2,700. So there's a lot of power in this, and you can see now we're going to save this. It's already called Bookings Report, and it's saved. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to call it, though, save as the May Bookings Report. because next month I can come in and all I have to do, because it's pre-formatted for June, is change the filter on the date and save it as the June filter, or June bookings report. So you have this bookings report. Now here's a couple of different things that you can do that are really cool in addition. So now you have all the sales orders. You can create a chart in Business Insights Explorer. So if I create a chart that's called bookings, it's creating this as I go based on the data that's in the data grid. So I'll click on chart, and I want a bar chart, and I want 8 per page. This is something you can fool around with and see how it fits on there. And I want to see the booking amount. And what else do you want to see? You might want to see the sales tax or the freight, and that's kind of why I said think about what you want to put on there. And what do I want to group by? Do I want to group by division so I can see my 2 divisions? Do I want to see it by order type or order day? So let me look by day. Do I have certain days of the week that are better than others? So I can choose to do this as I want to. Salesperson is probably the most popular. So this will come in. So now I have my May orders. And over here, even though they're not grouped by salesperson over here, in the chart, I'm able to separate them and see that Jim was my best salesperson for that month. Now, we can do a lot of things by those, and in the Business Insights Explorer class, we do. So I strongly suggest you take that. So I'm going to sort this by the booking amount to make it easy. So that's kind of a glance at Business Insights Explorer, which is free, comes with 4.4, great product. I'll end with saying this data that you have here can go right out to Excel. So when I click this button, it pushes my data right over to Excel or Word. And this is grayed out only because I don't have it on this laptop. I'm using Excel and Word for web. But you have the ability to see this. You also can merge into a template if you want to merge into a template and do it as a web page. In fact, I'll do that right now so you can see that. And I can just send that over and do it as a sales order in HTML document so that I can publish that up to a private website and be able to see that view from a salesperson without being in Mass 90. So again, a lot of power with that. You can do a report by clicking print or preview, and it's turned into a bookings report. Thanks for listening. I know that was a little bit long this time for a quick tip, but I want you to understand the power of version 4.4 for Mass 90. Thanks, and have a fantastic day.